Hello everyone, and for tonight's equine learning segment, we are going to be talking about boots and wraps. This is something that you may not be familiar with, even if you've worked with horses before, or if you've been to CTR, because we don't too commonly use boots or wraps at CTR. I know you've seen us wrap captain's leg, and that is a case in many instances where we might use wraps is for injuries. But the wraps and the boots that I'm going to focus on tonight are more for support, and you're going to get this handout with your email this week. It's just a little diagram showing an overview, and there are many more different types of boots than are on this form. But they come in two types. There's impact protection and support. And I'm going to show you a few examples of some boots and wraps that we have around CTR tonight. I'm going to show you briefly how to put them on. It's important to note that there is a correct way to put on boots and wraps. And in fact, if they are put on incorrectly, it can injure the horse. In most cases, it's better to not wrap than to wrap incorrectly. So I'm going to show you tonight a few examples. The first thing I'm going to show you are these big shipping boots. They are really puffy. Victor's never really probably hasn't ever had these on before, at least not for years and years. They're really plush and padded, and just like their name, they're used for shipping. Specifically for long trips, if you can believe it, horses can go on airplanes. And when a horse stands still for a long time, horses are designed to be moving and outside all the time, so they get stocked up. Stocked up means that there is edema or swelling in their leg, and boots in many cases help prevent this. And when a horse is traveling, these sort of compress their leg and helps prevent that stocking up that I just talked about. They also, since they are so padded, help protect the horse's leg from injury. Many horses don't like to travel on the trailer, or especially on an airplane. It could be very stressful, and if they're kicking or bumping around, especially if the truck and trailer hit any bumps or sharp turns, these will help protect them. So by looking at them, you might be able to guess which goes on the back and which goes on the front. And I'm going to show you on Victor's left side tonight all the boots, and there are left and rights. This is the left hind shipping boot, and this part up here is sort of shaped like their hock, but that is what it's going to cradle. Come around here. And you'll see a pattern tonight when you're wrapping. You always want the straps to go from front to back, like that. And I'm applying some pressure when I'm putting these on. If it's too loose, it'll fall down and create more of a problem. So you can see he has a nice little booty there to protect him from injury. They're nice and plush. All right, so next I'm going to show you some Polo Wraps. So Polo Wraps look like this. They're not all zebra striped. These are just special ones. They come in all different colors. They're a fleecy material, and it's important that they be rolled tight. You can kind of hear they're rolled tight so that when I apply them, I can easily get even pressure on his leg. These are used for basic support. They don't provide a whole lot of injury protection, but when a horse is doing more strenuous work, like lots of cantering, maybe even some jumping, although there are some different boots that we'll get into for jumping, that's when you would want to put Polo Wraps on. So for a Polo Wrap, like the shipping boot, there is a correct way to do it. You want to make sure that when you put it on, the horse's leg is on the outside of the wrap. You don't want the horse's leg to go inside the wrap. You're going to start right below the knee. It's important that you don't impede any of the joint movements. I like to start right back here, and as you go along, you want to make sure that you apply even pressure. Not too tight, definitely not too loose. And you also want to make sure that the wraps, as I go around, you can see it's straight. You don't want to do too much of a diagonal line like that. Doing this incorrectly can actually cause a bowed tendon. So wrapping like this ensures that, you know, if I wrapped the opposite way, that would pull his tendons in a different direction than they should go.
Sorry, I have a bug.
All right there?
I swallowed a bug.
Oh no! All right. So when I get down to the fetlock joint, you do want to include that joint, but you kind of make a slight angle. It kind of cups the fetlock joint, and then you come back up. You can kind of see there's a V there. And when you continue to wrap it back up, you want to make sure that it's even all the way back up. And if I hopefully did it correctly, I will end right back up at the top where you have some Velcro. And that is a Polo Wrap. I would typically do these on all 4 feet, but always the front 2 feet are the most important. Now, a few safety things that I forgot to mention. We've gone over this when anytime you're dealing with being next to the horse's feet or picking their feet. Notice how when I'm putting on the wraps and the boots, I'm not sitting on the ground. I'm just crouching like this so that I can get up really fast if I need to. If he were to move, horses move all the time. You know, he wasn't meaning any harm by that movement that he just did. But if I was crouched down and I had my head in front of his knee here, he could have accidentally hit me in the head. So you just want to stay alert at all times. Be aware of how the horse is feeling as you're putting these on. It's important with Polo Wraps when you take them off that you don't want to get it all tangled up, caught and tangled in amongst their legs. And it's really kind for the next person who wraps, I will show you real quick, that you wrap them back up correctly. So I don't want to start wrapping from this end because that Velcro has to be there for you in the end. So you put the Velcro onto itself, and then I roll as tight as I can. And I just kind of pull like that. And I'll finish rolling this wrap when I'm done this video. But you always want to roll these back up. They have to also be washed every few times that you use them. The next one I'm going to show you, and it's on your sheet. So the Polo Wraps were on your sheet, but the shipping boots were not. These are called split boots. And these are basically a little bit more sturdy, fancier version of a Polo Wrap. You can put them on a lot faster than Polo Wraps too. So they have padding on the inside here. So you'll use these when you get into jumping and more high impact activities. And like all boots and wraps, they have a left and a right one. On your sheet it also says that they only offer impact protection. So they don't necessarily provide support while you're riding the horse. So impact means as they're jumping or doing anything like trail riding, that it would protect against anything, especially like cross country, jumping, hitting the horse's legs. So that pad, you want to be on the inside of their leg. And same direction as we've done everything tonight. Actually, I'm missing something. This is the one we want because the Velcro has to go back on itself. All right, Victor. See how I'm pulling from the front of his leg to the back. It's a little confusing when you have these keepers for the Velcro because you have to thread it through, but then you have to go back. Again, a little bit of pressure, not too tight, but you don't want it loose, especially when your horse is jumping. So Victor, and there are also, I should mention, different sizes of everything. And Victor has pretty big legs. He would probably need a slightly bigger size of split boots. And then I have one more boot to show you. Take these off. Lastly is the bell boot. And they look just like they sound. They look like little bells. These two are not matching pairs, and they do come in different sizes. In fact, these ones are probably going to be a little small for Victor. So these are for horses that overreach, and that means with their hind legs, they often reach or stretch forward and clip their front legs. This can cause injury to the back of the horse's foot, and it can also pull off their shoes, which is an expensive problem to have. So they can do this in the field when they're running around. You might keep these bell boots on when you're riding them and when the horse is out in their field. If they're doing any activity where they typically tend to overreach, you're going to want to have these on to prevent them from pulling off those shoes. So they do have ones that are non-Velcro that you have to pick up the horse's foot, turn them inside out, and pull them on. These are nice because I can just Velcro them on, but the problem is Velcro gets weak after time and they can start to fall off easier. You can see these don't attach very well anymore. But I'm just going to show you. Really, Victor? It's like gravel. You're silly. That's how Victor feels about this lesson. He just had gravel in his mouth.
He just ate a rock.
Don't eat rocks. All right. So these are bell boots. Now, they're supposed to also protect the back of the heel. It's actually not as small on him as I thought it would be, because you want it to just cover the back of the heel. They will not cover their whole hoof, or else they trip on them. So this is sort of a hands-on activity that takes a lot of practice, especially to learn how to wrap. We want to make sure that we do it correctly to keep them safe. But I just thought you all would find it a little bit interesting to go over some of these boots, and we'll see you in the next segment.